everyone.
Morning.
It's that time again. So let us determine whether or not we have a quorum. Mr. Kaufman, are you present?
Present.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Present.
We have a quorum, and we are calling this meeting to order. Thank you. First item is adoption of our agenda. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda today? If not, can we have a motion to adopt our agenda?
I'll move to adopt.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Excuse me, boy.
Our agenda is adopted. Action item number 1, discussion and possible action on proposed stipulated order to dismiss SFCC LMRB case number PPC 2018-02 and the counterclaim in that case, and to vacate the hearing in SFCC LMRB case number PPC 2018-03, pending the parties' initiation of impasse resolution procedures. At this point, shall we ask the parties to come up and see if there are any questions regarding the stipulation? Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't generally like to speak on behalf of others, but I think that we are all appreciative of the work that you did to enter into this stipulation, which ultimately will yield an outcome of a collective bargaining agreement. So we would like to acknowledge everybody who participated in that process. Are there any questions for college or union regarding the stipulation? I just have one question. Mediation, are you going back with the FMCS? Is that the intention?
That was my understanding from my discussions with council, that we would go back jointly and let him know, let FMCS know that we'd like to mediate again once we get the last of the stopper. According to the stipulation, that would occur on or before March 15th. So after that, we'd make contact. But there are other options. But my understanding is we're going to try to do FMCS because he's got the historical knowledge of when we used it before.
Okay.
Right. That's my understanding. That's my understanding as well.
Okay. So you have no dates scheduled at this point?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. With no questions, is there anything that you would like to share with this board?
Other than, like you said, Madam Chair and members of the board, I think there was some good work put into this, and I think the intention is to get to an agreement so the parties can move forward.
Great.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I guess I'll echo those sentiments and say, we're looking forward to, continuing the process to move this forward so we can come to an agreement soon, hopefully.
Good.
Thank you. Board members, any discussion? Do we need to go into executive session?
No, I echo your comments that this is a good step and hopefully it will continue. So.
No comments. I think I don't know that we need a closed session to discuss. I appreciate the work and the stipulated order. I think if the parties are in agreement, I think the terms are acceptable to us for sure, and I think we can accept the order.
There was one item in the stipulation that I thought we might want to have a conversation about.
Okay. So in that, then I think we move to go into closed session now. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. So we are going to go into closed session for the purpose of reviewing the stipulated order pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H3. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Madam Chair,
yes, please.
just so that we are clear on the Open Meetings Act, the motion and board decision needs to recite both the basis for closing the meeting, so it would be 10-15-1H3, which is administrative body deliberations, in order to discuss the stipulation. Just to be technical about it and make sure that your meetings are correct. I mean,
Maybe not in the precise order, so thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
I'm just trying to make sure that our minutes are correct so that we don't
We
get
appreciate
challenged.
that.
That's right.
Okay.
Right. So with that, we're going to have a brief executive session. Thank you. Thank you all. We are back. Do we have a motion to reconvene in open session?
I'll move to reconvene.
I'll second the motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. And let the minutes reflect that the board discussed only the topic addressed in the motion to enter into executive session. And response to action item 1. Is there a motion?
I'm going to move that the board approve the stipulated order that was submitted by the parties, and members of the board will sign that order once it's circulated, and we'll complete that here today.
Okay. Is there a second?
And I'll second the motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. With our thanks. Okay. Next action item, approval of February 6th, 2019 meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review?
Yes.
I move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next action item, approval of development and process for issuance of RFP for legal services contract for the Labor Management Relations Board. Is there any discussion?
I think in light of the parties' stipulation, we don't need to discuss that action item.
Any other comments?
Nope, I agree.
Okay, do we need a motion to?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, welcome back. And I think we also wanted to,
Yes, during this process, we've had the additional legal counsel, and I want to acknowledge Amy's work with us, and Amy Jagger, and have that for the record. She did an excellent job, and just want to acknowledge her work.
thank you.
Yes.
And our thanks to Amy. Item 4, discussion and possible action to adopt revised Open Meetings Act notice resolution. So we have a red line copy of the proposed resolution. John, do we need to read each of the changes that we're anticipating in the
I
resolution?
have extra copies of 2 options for the open meetings notice resolution, Madam Chair. May I hand those out to you just so you can see those? I'm not the best word processor in the world, so only one of them says that it's an option, the other is blank, but I think you'll see briefly what the issues are.
Thank you.
We also had a red line that you gave us.
We do, yeah, that's actually,
Okay.
And this is the clean copy. And this is what John just gave us. Okay.
3 copies of this.
Jeez.
I'm not making it too difficult.
is the blank copy the current resolution without changes?
No, it's not, unfortunately.
I think we
I
need to
think
look at.
The red
two
line might be,
I think you set aside the red line.
Right.
I think we need to look at John's 2 options. Option 1, which doesn't have anything at the top,
okay,
and then option 2 that notes the.
Has a couple of changes.
okay.
And the principal, members of the board, the principal reason for making the proposed changes is the wording of the Open Meetings Act requires that meeting notices contain an agenda. So it gets more specific in section E of 10-15-1 and requires that the final agenda be ready 72 hours in advance. But the language of the statute says the notice needs to have an agenda. So what I've put in paragraph 1 of the blank copy there, the second and third sentence basically say the notice will contain a proposed agenda. And I've added that because of the technical requirements of the law. And then it says later on that a final agenda will be available 72 hours in advance. I've made the same change. If you look at the one labeled option 2, the second page, the regular meeting notice and the special meeting notice reads similarly, and I've highlighted those so you can see it, that those notices also contain a proposed agenda, and that the final agenda will be available 72 hours in advance. The wording of the law is a little confusing, and even the AG's Open Meetings Act compliance guide doesn't clarify it much, but I think that the language I've included in these 2 drafts helps to make it clear that we are complying both with the initial notice requirement and the 72-hour final agenda requirement. And the only other change I've made on option 2 is to add for emergency meetings that you'll notify the college radio station, KSFR, of an emergency meeting. So I was hoping by doing this to clarify it. Unfortunately, I'm not the best word processor, so the changes aren't as well highlighted as they should be. So I apologize for that.
No, I think this is very helpful. So if I understand, option 2 that you've given us includes all the changes from option 1 plus the emergency notice, the radio station,
Right.
That's
and the
what I
proposed
understand.
agenda.
I would actually propose adopting option.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I've reviewed them. I think they clarify the procedure that we were a little bit confused about. And I would make a motion to adopt option 2 unless anyone has any other questions.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we are adopting option 2.
And I'll provide a cleaned up copy too.
Correct.
So that the board members can also sign that at an appropriate time.
Okay. Thank you. Trish, is there anything else that you need from us? Okay. All right. Thank you for that, and we appreciate your work on that. All right. Are there any public comments? Any items for discussion?
Nope.
Any information items?
No.
Nope.
Well, I think that we've dragged this out about as long as we possibly can. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Second.
I second them.
And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are done for today. Thank you all so much.